Hello everyone and welcome back to Tomb Out of Time, the real-time D&D series where you too can be part of the fun. We're back with not one but two sessions this month for the month of April, so without further ado, from left to right would my players please introduce themselves and the characters they are playing, starting with Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben, otherwise known as Tavern Cat Records. I play Jackson Mulligan, a still very snarky Arcana Lost rogue who wasn't an Arcana Lost originally.
I am Chaos Chest, also known as Noid. I am playing a paladin who happens to be a Dampier. Wasn't originally a Dampier, but he is. His name is Q, and he is very socially awkward.
Hello there, I am Moose of Moosed Up Productions, and I will be playing Aletris, our local chef-turned-cleric.
Hello, this is Fire. I play Thalia, a incredibly displaced individual from the timeline of Warhammer 40k. An Adeptus Sororitas who has found herself as effectively a slime. She's not very happy about it.
Goopy lady.
Goop.
And I am Miguel, your friendly neighborhood werewolf, and your dungeon master, who has very likely invited the ire of a certain slime lady. If you were here last episode, you might remember that Acerak got his pants scared off by a certain scary lady. But with that being said, I believe that Thalia has requested to do the recap, unless someone else would like to do that today. Alright, Thalia, the floor is all yours, considering the silence I'm receiving.
Fantastic. Sorry, I got distracted by Moose. He did something I couldn't quite catch because I was wearing headphones. Okay.
What did you do, Moose?
I just went, without doing the push-to-talk, just, for you see!
Oh, I see.
Attacks
Okay.
you with a caltrop.
I have one! Anyway. Talia's journal. Day 6 since awakening. Day, unknown. Year, unknown. Season, unknown. Location, unknown planet. Outside of Port Nyanzaru en route to Fort Biluarian for a job. Taking a bit to jot down my thoughts while it's not my turn on watch out in the wilds. If it wasn't for my training and experience as an Adeptus Sororitas, my head would be swimming from the sheer amount of bullshit that's managed to happen in the span of a few days. I don't know if a setup bitch was trying to fuck with my head, but I dreamed of my sister 4 nights ago for the first time in years as far as I can recall. My sister in blood, as well as battle. The day I lost her to those accursed Tyranids. Watching her being ripped from my arms again damn near ripped my own heart apart. Were it not for the sheer fucking rage brought on and seeing that fucking bug's face shift to a set of bitches. With what he hinted to know. Does that mean he's made me lose her? Just what kind of heretical fuckery has he delved into to be able to pull off everything so far? Just another answer I need to dig out of him once he's under my boot. At least he seems to be able to be rattled. Seeing that ripple gave me no small bit of satisfaction. Though it also seems he's a petty son of a bitch as I found myself morphed into a snake not long after. Given Aletris' episode the day before, I was surprised he didn't bolt as soon as he saw me. Still, he left quickly enough to find a matter about whatever magic was used on me. I still don't know how to feel about the snake's child staying at the inn. I haven't been around any kids since I was one myself, since my sister and I were young. To have one so drawn to me, after everything, it feels wrong, not natural. Someone that innocent seeming doesn't deserve it. Well, if they still want to be around me after I went off the way I did, then we'll cross that bridge. The fact that our people seem to worship the snakes associated with those buildings, that the ones aligned with the moon snake tried to stomp out the others. It reeks of a Cerbich. And considering Eletris' episode, we might have to look into it regardless. After all that was addressed, the 5 of us, sans Snake Child, managed to find some work as an escorting party. Some bloke named Brohak wanted us to get him to safety. Wanted us to get him to safety at Fort Belurian for an inspection of the happenings there. Along with 2 other guides, River Mist and Flask of Wine, we trekked for 3 days from the port, finding more ancient creatures along the way, as well as a group of traveling druids. Pretty uneventful until today. I swear I'm gonna have to keep Jackson on a damn leash, and Q as well. As soon as that furry bastard went off towards the beach, he got us entangled with a scraggly woman wanting us to come to her home. Jackson was practically being led by her finger the whole way, and despite how friendly she was coming off as, I was about to shake the feeling that something was up. Especially after the tidbits dropped about the fort we're heading to. Something about the leading woman there felt familiar. And I hope my gut's off about that. It was no real surprise to me that the dinner turned into an ambush, with the twig dropping again. Thankfully, Eletris and Xerxes helped pull them back together once we finished gutting the 2 fishwomen. But the day's bad fortune refused to end there. Apparently, Q needed to drink from one of the biggest beasties I've laid eyes on here, and I didn't take too kindly to that. Running off like Cornus Daemons were hot on its heels, and snapping off the twig's fangs as well. I had to run with Jackson to try and get him back before he bled out or lost them permanently, so I doubt that the Medicaid here is advanced enough to reconstitute teeth or provide suitable replacements. After finally catching up and changing again through a set of Fuck's magic into some kind of flying reptile, we managed to retrieve him in time for Electris to set and heal him back in his skull. Still not certain what kind of heresy might be involved, but it doesn't make my skin crawl. Yet. I'm gonna need to pull Cute aside. For his survival, and for answers. I don't want to go in any further without clearing up some questions on my end. And with his track record so far, I might not have any chances to find out left before he reached the fort.
Good shit.
I don't know what you talk about. This is normal conversation. That's all that happened until we got into the fight right there. All right.
You were immediately enamored by getting your scalp scraped.
I mean, who wouldn't?
You were almost fish food because you wanted a head massage.
No, he's not gonna say that.
What's he thinking?
I mean, there's worse ways to go, honestly.
For once, he was thinking
You're
of his top head rather than his bottom head.
For once, yeah. Because Thalia just like, sure, let me introduce each of you.
Huh?
As in, she would introduce him to a few worse ways to go.
Yeah, fair.
Is this constituting as your actual conversation?
Oh no, I just wanted to talk out of character.
Outside.
Oh, man. Let me go ahead. We'll get the ambiance going.
Ambiance.
And let me just double check to make sure. You guys can hear that, correct?
Yep.
Can hear.
Alright. Obviously, Twitch chat, you're not going to be able to hear it because, well, audio setup, you know.
That is okay. It will be in post.
The magic of editing.
I actually don't edit stuff in post. Stay silent. Mostly for people to just listen in like a podcast.
Fair enough.
Wow, fair.
That and, well, copyright BS. But with that being said, first off, thank you, Thalia. You get a cheese ball, aka a DM inspiration. And regarding the rest of your night, your rest is uninterrupted. Q, your upper jaw is still a little sore after having your fangs ripped from your head, but thanks to the others' aid, they seem to be healing. And to your surprise, your guides as well as your boss seem pretty unfazed by what you went through. They've probably seen worse since the Sararak took over. But
Makes sense.
with that being said, is there anything you guys would like to do before you head out for your day? Jackson?
Nothing I can think of.
I just imagine...
I think Eletris
Go ahead.
is going to hand out the good berries that he made the night before. Make sure everyone's got theirs.
Bee-wee. One random effect from the chaos table. Oh, for Thalia. Thalia, roll me a D100.
Oh boy.
Gotta make this interesting now. Gotta make this an interesting way to wake up.
81. Alright. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh boy.
Why is it her?
Thalia, you get 13 temporary HP.
Ah, okay.
Oh shit!
So this
Nice.
expires at the end of the day.
Good to know.
Or like
Actually helpful.
whenever you use them, you know.
You said it was 13, yes?
Yes. Basically, I roll a couple dice to determine what it is. Alright.
I was gonna say, Talia's gonna make a point to push some of the fish that they had gotten towards Q for protein purposes, to try to help replenish whatever the fuck he lost with the thing.
Is it specifically uncooked fish?
Yes.
Okay. Whatever blood there is in there, it is going to be drained.
Just have the mental image of Q holding a fish in his mouth like a feral goblin.
Ha. Ha.
He's a bit more civilized than that. He's holding it with his hands. And doing that.
Eating it like a burrito sideways.
No. It's literally just the Gollum Smeagol pose. That's what he's in right now.
Do you want to try to hide that from Xerxes?
The whole vampire thing?
No, the fact that you're eating fish like a goblin hunched over by the fire.
He's... All he's doing is he's sitting cross-legged, holding the fish up to his mouth, and ha! It's not like there's any other way to really dine on fish in his current state.
You see as Xerxes imitates you. He's doing a monkey see, monkey do moment.
Cute.
Granted, he takes a bite out of the fish.
There's a very, very slight smirk hidden by the fish as he's like, "You make a fun of me?"
No. You can roll an insight if you want to.
I'll do it, but he's just gonna, he will still say the quote disbelieving unquote, all right.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry about it. You can tell that Xerxes is basically doing it because he finds it genuinely endearing.
Your Honor, they're gay.
I also just realized that Flask of Wine's name has a capitalized I in it.
Huh.
Alaska, we are Ween.
Ween.
Ween. Why are you... Hang on.
No!
Ween.
Ween! I need to fix this for my
That's
own
the ween.
sake.
The Ween.
There, it's fixed. Flask of
Don't
Ween.
curse. Don't curse them like that, please.
It's Ween.
Alaska Ween.
Apparently, River Mist is just teasing Flask of Wine for this, and he's just like, I don't know if you guys recall or noticed, but Flask of Wine doesn't actually talk.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I assume you guys hit the road.
I mean, yeah, we've still got plenty of rations we need to start going through, which the good berries are fine and all, but also, hey, we don't want this food to spoil.
Yeah.
Save the good berries for emergency healing. They don't do much, but better than nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we offer you a copyright abiding flask of weed?
My flask of Ween.
It's like a flask of wine, but legally distinct.
Who copyrighted wine?
The Disney Corporation would. I'm so sorry, but they would.
Oh god, no, they're here too?
We've already canonized that Jackson comes from a place where Disney copyrighted D&D.
Oh no, I just meant here
Yeah.
right now. Like, that's what I was going to freak the fuck out about.
Walt Disney rises from the dead
I
as
don't-
a zombie.
I don't think the executives at Disney are that desperate yet. Give it another 10, 15 years, maybe they'll do something like that.
Cora, with your permission, I'm putting a trademark on Flask of Ween.
Sweet.
With that being said,
I need that on a t-shirt now.
I... Don't tempt me!
Oh, dear God.
Anyway, who wants to move the token a square, or I guess a hexagon? Everybody get
I
your
can move it.
hexagons.
We're going straight up. You flip.
Split up north.
Oh, sorry.
Oh boy.
Alright. You encounter no weens.
Damn it.
Jackson, the last time you thought with that, we got in trouble. I'm glad. I'm fucking glad we didn't. Calm myself.
I'm sorry if I'm trying to make this journey a little bit interesting, alright?
We've already had more than enough interest, and if you try to add more to it, I swear I'm going
Look,
to
I'm
cram
a
you
fucking-
inside
I'm a
a
fucking-
bag.
I'm a fucking fox right now. Do you think I give a shit?
This is actually
I think that makes the journey plenty interesting. We don't need to add more to it.
This is giving me an incredibly cursed thought, and I'm unsure if I should voice it.
Oh boy.
no.
You could type it into the Discord.
I'm just gonna say it for posterity. Do you guys think that Jackson gets a boner like a fucking radiation detector? Like every time he's in the vicinity of a hot person, it goes off.
Oh my god.
A Geiger counter. That's
He-
what I was looking for.
He's from Boston. That happens to anyone in fucking Boston.
Oh no! I killed him. I killed this.
Which, just for anyone from Boston that's watching this, that was a joke.
Boston.
Alright, let's get to the destination before we die any further.
Is a Sarac just really shitty fantasy Disney?
Yeah.
I maybe.
Alright, I
Perhaps.
need to move party ribbon. There we go. You are now here.
Tiny as hell.
Boy. Oh. Oh, it's a big map.
It is a big map. And let me go ahead and read the description as you guys get here, because you're technically not in the gates yet, but I'm not moving you because I'm lazy.
Lamau.
AKA, I spent several hours setting up today, please have mercy.
It's all good.
Alright. Step after crunching step on the path, you grow closer to Fort Blurian. Banners of Port Ninzaru fly upon the walls as you see guards making their patrols, and you notice how the river running past the fortress is fitted with a water wheel, providing with a mill for bread and other necessities. As you guys are approaching, Roka pulls you aside, just out of sight of the walls. Do you remember why we are here?
That's a very excellent question.
I believe
You're doing a bit of a undercover investigation, so to speak.
Indeed. Since the loss of the monarchy, the merchant princes have been ruling the peninsula. As one of the operatives of Ekenaafa, one of the elder merchant princes, it is my job to infiltrate and ensure Serac or the followers of the Night Serpent have not corrupted our fortresses, lest we risk falling to the... And he looks to Xerxes. Needless to say, protecting what we have left is very important.
Right. And you wanted us to create some sort of distraction, was it?
Yes. I do not care how or when we do so. I simply need a plan and to understand what you have in mind so I may work around it. I need to make sure that I can get into the leadership office specifically.
Something
Right,
that
then-
would attract the attention of leadership.
Thalia is very quiet. But she does speak up after a moment, just... If I can get a good look at the leadership, I might be able to come up with a way to occupy their time.
Might also behoove us, the five of us who are unfamiliar to this place, to do a bit of recon, just so that we know what we're also dealing with.
I think it might be wise if we can get ourselves officially registered in visiting. I have the paperwork to get us in, but it may be advisable for us to be here legally. After all, if you are to be considered as proper adventurers, you will need to go by the rules.
That is true.
Fair enough.
I have a proposal if you would accept it.
Let's hear it first.
Considering that all of you are new to the continent, I would propose that, well, we meet with the leader to get your charter of exploration verified. Getting this permission will not only permit you to go about the peninsula without worry and gain entry to other locations, but it would also allow you to roam this place freely.
That does sound wise.
It sounds like it's worth a shot, at the very least.
It would also permit Miss Thalia to speak with the man or woman that we will be meeting with.
That is also true.
In that case, if we are all in agreement, so Rokah leads you guys up to the gate, and with a quick flash of paperwork as well as a small passing of coin, he gains you guys entry into the fortress, greeting you with a well-kept, albeit kind of sweaty, military operation. It's a very sausage party situation out here, to say the least.
Ah, men.
Flask of Wine and River Mist are going to be remaining back, but this is basically your guys' opportunity to roleplay and ask for an audience with the commander.
I'm leaving that to the higher charisma people. Look, Talia's is abysmal. Do you really want to risk it on that?
I gotta double check mine. Eh.
Everyone looks to Q.
I mean, so far he apparently has the highest charisma.
He is a paladin.
Yeah. Shit. I suppose first order of business would be to maybe get the attention of one of the guards.
Alright. The guards are not paying too much attention to you, but let me take a look to see if there's an official representative here. Number 3. Alright. So, while the guards are kind of going about their business, you guys see an armorer, Korhi. It's a very strange name. Standing to your north. He's currently sorting various weapons, kind of in different stacks.
Excuse me, sir. Might I have a moment of your time?
The gentleman looks up, and he basically sets one of his daggers, like one of his stock daggers, into its little hold. Ah, new customers. What can I help you with?
Well, me and my companions here are new to these lands, and we're wishing to have a recognition of our adventuring capabilities. Who would we go to have an audience with for such a thing?
Ah, you wish to speak with the commander? I believe if you wish to meet with her, she will be in the tower. And he points to the largest building to your guys' east. Over here. In this direction.
All right, and is it just a walk in, ask for an audience type of deal, or do we have to reserve time?
She does have a guard that helps her with her scheduling. But seeing as things have been quiet around here, there shouldn't be much issue. We haven't exactly had new people coming in with all of the snakeheads coming by.
Snakeheads?
Oh, the followers of the snake, the night serpent thing. I'm not really a man of faith, I couldn't say.
Talia is going to noticeably shift her attention to them and just. Have they been by recently then?
They're not really lingering around military fortresses. I think they know better than that, but, well, people are scared to travel. Most of them go by boat, since the snakes can't swim. It carries its own risks, but, well, a boat's a boat. It's usually more fortified than walking on foot.
That is true.
If you have questions regarding the actual nature of their religion, that's not exactly information that I can give you. Not out of any choice, mind you, just I don't exactly engage in the occult.
That is understandable. I wasn't expecting you to know much beyond the surface level.
But
Not to
go ahead.
not to be a not to insinuate anything.
It is of no worry. There were once many faiths in this land, and keeping track of all of them is quite difficult. But that being said, should the commander not be available right away, you're more than welcome to come back here and get any wares you may need before you hit the road.
We'll see if that'll be the case. We're freshly on a job to earn some money for ourselves, so I'm not sure how much we can actually barter.
Sorry, the cat's bringing me joy. But yeah, Corey just gives a disappointed frown. It's just like, at this rate, I might as well just go back to Port Yanzaru. And he kind of just like saying that under his breath. It's just like you can kind of tell that he's been having a hard time selling.
Yeah. I am sorry to be a further cause of disappointment, but if I will at the very least return if I need maintenance on maybe some of my own equipment, if a sort of bargain can be reached.
Oh, trade is more than acceptable. At this rate, it's just well, the merchant princes take quite a bit of my cut, if you get what I mean.
How much of your cut?
Well, think about it this way. They hike the prices up 25%, and then they only give me about a third of the net. You'd think that'd be earning more, considering I'm the one that's selling and making some of these.
Huh.
But what can you do? Monarchy's gone, so we have to pay the piper, as it were.
Right. Well, I suppose we'll get out of your hair for now, and we'll see if we can talk discuss things again.
That's when he gives a wide grin and a wave. He's just like, see you again soon.
Hugh gives a small polite bow before heading away.
Alright. So, do you guys want to explore first, or do you want to go straight to the commander?
I think it might be good to go to the commander first to get the bureaucracy out of the way first, and then we can explore without any worries.
Yeah.
Business first.
Business first, then exploration.
Yes.
But we'll go ahead and let me copy you guys. Because I'm just going to put you guys on over here. We'll say we're going into the building. Because there's actually a second map
Oh boy.
where you guys are going to be. Beep, 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 beep. Put you here. I'll move you over just a second. Do, 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 do. This is
Yeah,
my
no rush.
moving song. Alright. So, here's generally what you guys end up seeing. So, this is the Bailey. It's the primary building for military operations, and as you guys step in, you happen to see, basically it's split into 4 little things. In the middle, there's kind of a pit with a swaying mast to keep it stable. And moving around the pit is a wooden walkway providing drainage. There's several different rooms in this place, but obviously, I think you guys can see where you're going. Or at least those in the front can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Move at your own discretion.
Talia's letting the others go first. She's keeping an eye on things.
Alright.
I see that there's a sort of stable thing over here.
Yep. It is a stable filled with a few different types of dinosaurs. The ones that you can primarily see are Hadrosauri, which are the primary alternative to horses around here.
I thought they were just very large horses for a second. I can't really tell what's the dynamic lighting in here, so...
Let me go ahead and get Hadrosaurus. Handouts. Oh, I don't get a creature handout. You know what? We'll just show you guys the Hadrosaurus thingy. It's not particularly special.
Oh yeah.
But it's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys just kind of... You see a stable hand going about his business, shoveling out... You good?
That's a cat jumping into a box. I did not predict that would happen. My apologies.
Is the cat at least snugly in the box now?
A bit. Cats are in a slight bit of a zoomy mood.
Oh boy. But yeah, you guys just see as the stable hand is kind of like scooping little bits of hay and everything like that, and you hear the big Hadrosauri are just going about, and they're just kind of like munch, 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 and then you see like these little These little Dionychus kind of like picking at little bits of food on the floor like chickens.
Well, seeing as there's no one around here-ish, I'm gonna head down this way.
Yep,
The
following right behind
equation.
you.
For the sake of posterity, Xerxes is in his disguise form right now. He's not about to walk into a military operation as a bug.
Yeah, kind of figured.
Yeah. So, I think Q walks to about here the threshold of this room and kind of knocks on the art wall of the archway. Hello.
All right. Here's what you see. So, this particular room is lit by a mixture of torchlight and other forms of magical light sources. It appears almost akin to a traditional hunting lodge with kind of like various kills on the wall, various insignia, symbols of Port Nyanzaru, and a few of the specific sponsors from the Merchant Princes. And Thalia, how close are you to the front of the group?
Talia right now has kind of taken a little bit more of a rear position just because she's keeping an eye on things.
All right. As you guys approach the doorway, you see the highest ranking woman of the operation currently. She's kind of pacing about and placing bits of paperwork where they need to be. And she just turns to you, Q, as you knock on the doorway.
Hello. We received instructions that fresh adventurers could get bureaucracy done in here.
You see as she pauses and her face just kind of pulls into a scowl and she rolls her eyes. It's just like, did ya come for another one of those charter business things?
No, nothing like that.
I mean-
Alright. Get your asses in here.
Uh,
Do I have to roll anything to see if the voice is familiar?
Well, you don't have to roll anything because you're about to see.
Shit. Okay.
here.
But, Talia, a familiar face as you basically, as you're walking in the archway, a familiar face makes itself known. Albeit aged and bearing a few more scars. Though Acererak has undoubtedly gotten some of the details wrong, you would know that voice from anywhere. She looks to be about 50 now, certain parts of her hair grayed and face wrinkled. And your mind flashes back to the nightmare you had before, of Acererak stealing her from you. And you're starting to wonder even more if it held more merit. And standing before you is your sister.
The group is going to notice Talia. I wouldn't say stiffen, but it's as stiff as the body can get, right? As her body can get, but there is an unmistakable widening of the eyes as she is just locked onto this person before him and just as if she can't quite help herself, just Liara?
You see as she squints at you and she takes a step closer to you, Thalia. Well, well. Either I've finally gone mad, or the bastard spiders finally managed to find a way to sculpt the skull of my sister.
It'd be a damn miracle if either one of us weren't mad.
I'd like to think that perhaps we both went mad, considering the nature of the war.
She's having a moment as much as she's trying not to show it. It is taking a lot of restraint to keep her breathing even.
Thalia, you feel as Liara wraps her arms around you and pulls you into a very close hug.
It takes her a moment, but her arms do come up around her sister. And the hold, though a bit foreign because of the body, is definitely familiar in the amount of strength it has in it.
And here I thought I'd never get to feel this again.
So all this time you've been here.
I...
Oh, I'm updated the list on what the fuck I'm gonna do to that son of a bitch.
So long as it can include mine too.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Let me guess, he pulled you in here.
Aye. But she stops for a moment before kind of straightening up again and looking to the others. You can tell that there is some measure of she's trying to compose herself a bit more than she let her get, and just myself and my companions here all found ourselves in the same place, but managed to get ourselves out of it.
You look like that weird goose stuff that the bugs come from.
Talia's gonna make a face and just... Well, that explains something of what the fuck he said.
You see as she kind of lifts up one of your arms and is just looking at you, is just like, oh god. Was he about to turn you into one of those Tyranid scum?
I don't believe they're called Tyranids, but they're definitely bugs.
Did they kill you too?
No, she says, but the way she says it, it's surprisingly offhand. Liara, of all people, knows Talia's speech patterns and would therefore pick up on she is not discussing that right this second. Not like this.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we're soldiers. What other way could we go out, aye?
Mm. I think in Choice of War, this is a second chance is definitely better than no chance.
Perhaps. So, it's gonna be a little difficult to move around if we don't have the proper papers, from what I heard.
Those damned merchant princes. Always regulating.
Been doing that for a while, so we've heard from a merchant from around here.
From what I've heard, it's been even longer than I've been here. And I've been here for nearly 50 years.
Hmm.
Do you happen to know when they came about?
Liara gestures for everybody to kind of take a seat.
Yep, sitting down.
At this rate, I might as well offer you a pint. If anything, you deserve it after this kind of treatment.
It's welcome.
She pulls out some pretty strong mead, some stuff that you guys would be able to handle as soldiers, but those with with a weaker constitution, perhaps is a good way of putting it, might struggle.
Talia's gonna give one look at Q and Jackson, just... I don't want to have to drag them back.
I
Oh, what the
wasn't
fuck you mean by that?
I wasn't gonna ask for a drink anyway.
Alright. Waters for the pansies.
I'm no fucking pansy.
Well, you sure look like one.
Just like tail like stiffens up. It's like, ma'am, I'm offended that you would say such a thing.
Jackson, the number of times we've had to pick you up off the ground.
Goes over. Just goes over to him. Just goes shh, shh, shh. She doesn't need to know about that. Does not need to know about any of that.
That's when Eletris looks around him toward her. It's more than 0.
I can smell the fish breath on him.
Q just scratches the back of his head for a bit. It's not that I'm a pansy, I just don't know if alcohol would agree with what I am right now.
I can see those fangs of yours. You'll be fine. Just don't go biting into the glass.
I'm not
Talia's gonna give a shrug.
complete moron.
If you can't tell, Liara has way less cool than Thalia. And that's saying something.
God.
So, about the reign of these princes.
Story goes that couple hundred years ago, during the first what people call the season, as it were, the people that used to run this whole country were it was a monarchy run by a king and queen, matriarchy. And don't mind me, my throat is having a hard time. Speak good.
Oh no.
Drink. It was said that the lost city of Amu is the main reason for it. Story goes that the royal line was killed off about 50 years ago. But it all started when it kinda... She kind of just looks to a big map where you notice a big burnt hole. That, losing a big city kind of influences people's, opinions on nobility, even though it wasn't their fault. So I suppose to give you an actual answer, it's been about 50 to 60 years.
God damn it, Moose.
Lamau.
What do you mean you lost the city? Go find it.
Go
You
find
forgot
it.
to cherish it.
I see. I suppose they're the ones helping keep everything together, or
If you
is it
want to
more
call
of
it
a...
that.
Sounds like less together, more so keeping everything held by a string, so that way they're the ones in control.
Oh, don't get me wrong, they're still holding things together. But at the same time, it costs an arm and a leg just to exist. And that's when she lifts up a banner to reveal she's missing an arm. You defy them, or you join them. In my case, I had to do both. And I'm not exactly keen on the latter.
Talia's eyes are going to narrow significantly.
I know that look. You're thinking of doing something.
I'm thinking I'm gonna have to have another pint while you tell me what happened later in private.
Well, if you're worried about the one responsible, he's been dead for 30 years. Took his head clean off myself.
Good, I can piss on his grave.
You think he got the benefit of a grave? Nah, bastard got eaten. Dinosaurs needed food.
I feel that's like a common thing around here. So
I wouldn't judge the people by the nature of the world.
no, but I can judge the ones who are running it.
She grabs a pair of paperwork and just pushes it towards you guys to fill out. Look, I know you're not gonna be here for no reason. I have to assume that you're here on a job.
I just trying to get some manner of coin for basic survival purposes while we figure out other things.
Your friends have any form of combat experience? Or are they all pansies?
Talia's gonna let out a sigh, but she shakes her head just... I wouldn't say they're pansies. They all have their tenacity. But in terms of formal training, it's just myself and just indicates towards Xerxes, just Xerxes there.
Bit of a colorful lad there, don't you? You've got a colorful lad. I don't know why the first two words didn't escape my throat.
It's that kind of day, honestly.
I mean, there's been all kinds of colorful beings here from what I've seen.
I was starting to worry I was going to be boring.
You could never be.
But that being said, I'd be remiss not to offer you some hospitality. You came all the way here, I'll pay you back. You lot will need a room and board. And you said you're looking for jobs?
Aye, that we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's when she turns to you, Jackson. It's just like, oh, you look like the type that runs with the rabble. You got any skills with infiltration?
I guess you could say that was a former profession of mine, yes.
I know reconnaissance from the normal. But that being said, any of you get seasick?
As far as I'm aware, no. Well, I
Well,
don't.
Not to my knowledge.
In that case, I think that you all would be good to potentially consider for a hiring, if you can prove yourselves.
Talia's going to lean forward after taking a decent drink from the pint and putting it back down. Just, we're listening.
So, much as I dislike those merchant princes, there's somewhat of a personal matter that I also need to take care of on a business matter. I can't exactly leave this place on account of being in charge. But no matter what, everybody who comes in here is well, useless. Current leader of an operation of a pirate situation. Y'all are familiar with pirates, right?
version
would-
of them.
I would have had to live under a rock to not be.
Basically, one of the bastards I came here with, a man by Bosco, is potentially working with the bugs. You thinking you could find it in your interest to work with me on this one?
Talia's going to look to the others for their input.
I mean, Sarak's no friend of mine.
Pretty sure he's not a friend to any of us, honestly.
Considering he turned you into one of his fiend things, I could understand.
So I don't know what that means. Kind of just shakes his head.
As far as I can tell, any way we can work against him is, well, it's not effort wasted.
Well, and it's gonna be helping good people. But I'll cut to the chase. Bosco is currently suspect of working with the old spider. Back in the day when he and I were working to try to get out of this situation, well, let's just say when we managed to find that first clue, man literally stabbed me in the back. Literally. Freed that man too, which means that the people in these previous seasons are just screwed.
So what did
Funny,
telling?
that's the next thing that we were going to try to do is look into that first clue. And you're saying that it's effectively lost.
I mean, I don't know if it's actually lost. It's more just freeing an immortal man from inside the ice. We got him out.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. An immortal man inside of ice.
Story goes that he has some sort of artifact, and that it's a essential factor for playing the spider's little game. And then she kind of puts a hand on her cheek. It's just like, look, I kind of gave up any chance that I was getting out of here, but if you hunt down Bosco for me, we might have a chance. Or in the very least, we might be able to find a clue.
It's definitely somewhere to start.
Hmm. In that case, I'll get a ship prepared for you to leave in a few days. It'll be much faster to travel by sea than by land. Won't have to deal with the snakeheads either. And look, I'm not asking you to bring him back alive. Just kill the bastard and be done with it. Take
Don't
care
need
of his
any-
operation too if you can.
I was about to say, don't need any other kind of evidence or anything to prove anything. Just in case we're not, out there killing just for killing's sake.
I'll admit, this one is a little bit of a government job too. You're gonna have to recover all the stolen goods he's managed to take.
Figures as much.
But if you do, well, I wouldn't mind lightening the pockets of the merchant princes a little bit. You can have a cut, and if you kill Bosco, I'll let you have a ship for free. Get it refurbished for your own purposes.
Yeah, Jackson kind of smirks at the notion of that.
I think we've got ourselves a plan.
In that case, you lot go and rest for a bit. And Thalia,
Aye.
I expect more hugs from you. None of that cold shoulder business tonight.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Alright. So, Liara needs a day or so to get a ship prepared for you guys, so now is basically your opportunity to explore. I have to assume Thalia is going to be keeping Liara occupied.
Yes. Might I say that this is a very, very conflicting thing for her. Because, she doesn't want to screw her sister over.
I mean, you can definitely tell that Liara is not loyal to Serac.
Oh yeah, definitely not. It's just a matter of the merchant princes, so she might have a word with their employers just like, look. But, of course, it'll have to be after it's safe to do so, but it's just like, look.
I mean, you can go out and find a place to talk to him about it.
Yeah? Potentially, but I'm gonna let other people do things first. I'll keep Talia on the back so I don't take up too much time.
Alright? In that case, let's go back to Fort Belurian, and just for the sake of posterity, I'm going to turn off dynamic lighting on this map because there's really no reason for it.
Yay.
So, you guys are now free to explore, so if you guys want to go ahead and roll a D100 to determine who goes first.
Each of us roll D100?
Yes. I think Electrus might be going last.
Oh boy.
I'm so sorry, Electrus. And Xerxes is basically existing if someone wants to take him along or talk to him. He's a whenever you want him NPC.
Date stroll with Q.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that, so.
Also, I am more than happy to swap my role with Electrus's.
Listen, don't worry about it. It was so precious. Okay. I will allow that if you want to. So Electrus has a 49 and Thalia has a 10. So Jackson,
Excellent.
what would you like to do?
I guess I'm just gonna do some recon, just like, I wouldn't say like casual strolling around, but just kind of like giving it a look around, like the area, like try to figure out where stuff is, leadership, stuff for like maybe some infiltration stuff later on if possible. So
The cat and the box.
Yep.
I shouldn't be finding as much amusement as I do in that. Anyway. So,
and maybe find something to maybe pickpocket off of someone if it looks interesting. I don't know.
alright. Go ahead and ping where in the fortress you want to explore, and I'll give you kind of a general rundown of what the fortress is like, and everything like that.
I don't want to go back to the entrance, because a lot of people over there. I'm gonna mainly try to stay close to, like, where this main area is, so I'll probably be, like, down here-ish.
Alright, go ahead and move yourself over there.
Yeah, but...
Alright, so there's a couple things. First, I'm gonna let you choose between left, right, and down.
Let's go left.
Alright. Jackson, I need you to roll me a history check to see if you can figure out what this is.
Oh boy, history.
Alright.
18.
You do remember what this is, so you've seen enough Hollow film to understand what this is.
Oh god.
So, to your left, aka to the west, you see what appears to be a jousting field. So, wooden bleachers are basically kind of set up. They're very well polished out of like a hardwood, and there's a fence in the middle. And just to the west of the jousting field, you can see there's a pen with various animals in it. Mostly horses, some hadrosauri, and a few other carnivorous animals, just kind of going about their day, eating nums.
Ah, nice. Yeah, it takes mental note of that. Jousting area with pen nearby. Good to know, good to know.
Alright. What do you want to check next?
Just pick any direction.
Yes.
Let's go right this time.
Alright. Right. The right is the barracks, so you can kind of see through the little vented windows that those who are meant to be on the night shift are currently snoozing away. There's nothing There's nothing too fancy. These are kind of like the buildings you guys saw on the outskirts of the city where they're a little bit lower into the ground and they've got really good ventilation, so the air's just kind of like naturally flowing through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But they're kind of resting on beds that are low to the ground, and obviously there's like a little mess area for food and everything like that.
Gotcha. Doesn't seem to be anything other than just barracks and another way inside this area, I would assume, right?
Actually the only way into the Prime Tower is through the gate that you guys went through. So there's a reason why there's a second wall around it, and it's basically an event of invasion, hole up in here.
Challenge, you say? Okay.
Local man's gonna commit larceny.
It's not larceny. Just try to. It's a challenge to try to find another entrance when there's only supposed to be one.
Well, there is a bell tower at the very top.
Yeah, but that's too obvious.
You could burrow your way through the roof. It's a thatch
Yeah.
roof.
Either way, let's go south this time.
Alright. To your south, around here, there is a secondary gate that seems to be kind of... It's basically an alternative entrance, and if you roll me another history check, you might be able to recognize something significant about it.
Okay, Jackson.
Goddamn. Alright, so you know that this fort is kind of built on a very elevated area. There's a manually dug, not necessarily moat, but it's basically been excavated in a way that the fall from the top of the top of the towers and the walkways to the ground down below is about 40 feet. So you suspect that this is basically kind of the all-in-one emergency exit, roundabout way if there's an invasion, etc., etc.
Alright.
And that's generally what you find in this area. I'll let you look at one more on this side of the complex if you wish.
Just anywhere within, like, say, this region
Yes,
down
within
here?
the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over here to, like, this general area and just, like, go by this well and just kind of sit around and just kind of, like, get a general look at the entire area. See if I find something interesting.
Alright, as you are sitting at the well, do you want to roll me a perception check?
Sure. Perception. 12.
Okay. You don't really notice anything of note other than you see a dire cheetah kind of just lounging in the stables.
Yeah, he kind of sighs looking at that. It's like, quiet place at least. Not much for distractions, unfortunately.
The cheetah just does a rumble. It's just like, "Meow." Alright.
Yeah, this seems like a very residential area, so...
It's kind of interesting because this basically doubles as both a military operation but also a pseudo town. Alright. Next up, we have Q. Q, what would you like to do?
The only area that I can really think of going to explore is about here.
Alright. Let's see what we have over there. Do you want Xerxes to come with you, or are you going by yourself?
If Xerxes wants to come along, I wouldn't mind.
All in favor from the party to send Xerxes with him?
Yes. Let the gays be gay.
Alright, I will send Xerxes with Q. Xerxes is just kind of happily humming along behind you, Q, as you guys are walking through. This particular section of the fort is actually the busiest of it, though there are no people on the map. There is a few soldiers and the commoners that be purchasing things in the bazaar.
I had a feeling this was the market area.
Yep. So, in event that you guys want to purchase something, this is the place that you go.
So once we have any money at all, we can come here to spend it.
You can also trade or take up odd jobs.
True. Yeah, Q's mostly just kind of window shopping at the moment, and maybe looking to see if there are any odd job postings to do while waiting.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a d20. You do not find any odd job postings at the moment.
Damn.
Unfortunate.
It seems like with the lack of business, everybody has been kind of nervously keeping their shops clean. It's got a little bit of that energy of Duloc, you know, where everybody's in the arena at once.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just roll a click-clack. Alright. Q, you take notice of Xerxes looking at one of the shops and eyeing the fact that they have silly little trinkets.
Q slowly makes his way over there, kind of glances at trinkets for a moment, and then glances back towards Xerxes. Something catch your eye?
Xerxes is just kind of like pointing at all the little animals. It's just like, did you guys have these in your time?
The animals or the figurines?
Specifically the animals. There's like little armadillos and warthogs and everything like that.
As far as I was aware, yeah. A lot of those were were they existed in my neck of the timeline.
Man. You guys had the best time then.
I, I wouldn't call it the best, but it was a time. Never actually saw any of those. Never actually saw any of these myself, but I know that they were around.
I mean, as far as I know, we didn't have them at all. I mean, we had DNA samples of them to keep them from going away completely, but it costs too much money to maintain them, so they just kept a lot of the animals in vials.
Huh. Never thought that's the way that the animal kingdom would go.
Xerxes just gives a shrug. It's just like, I'll admit things weren't great environmentally. Not at any fault of our own, just, well, you know, people not treating the world right kind of made things go to shit.
Yeah, kind of the consequence of our own actions, but sad that a lot of other innocents had to suffer for our fuck ups.
Yeah. I mean, it's really nice to have all the greenery here, too. Didn't exactly find a lot of it in the city.
Yeah, though my neighborhood, my country for the most part, tried to keep it a pretty decent balance between greenery and buildings. Kind of helped balance the freshness of the air, so to speak.
You said you're from Northern Europe, right?
Yeah,
That's when Xerxes kind of gives a blank and he looks between the different animals and he's kind of like, I read about the animals that you had there, but they don't have any of these here.
I mean, not surprised. A lot of the animals that like to dwell in my neck of the world usually preferred the colder climates or were adapted to survive in the colder climates. I doubt that most of these were exactly made for the colder climates.
Yeah. And then he looks around a little bit and then he leans down to whisper towards you. It's just like, is it bad that I haven't been able to feel hot and cold as much as I usually would?
Um, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I've certainly felt a lot colder myself after being transformed into this.
Maybe we're both cold-blooded then.
Maybe. Still, I'm glad that I'm actually just a damp here than an actual full on vamp. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to really exist around that hellfire thing. Points at the sun in its general direction.
Xerxes looks up to it and he's just kind of looking. You notice that his eyelids are not blinking. He's just looking. And you kind of realize that, oh, he doesn't actually have eyelids. The only reason why he's been quote unquote blinking is some form of illusion. He got bug eyes.
Maybe if you ever look up at the sun, maybe remember to squint at least a little with the illusion. Otherwise, might look weird.
He pauses for a moment, and you see his one eye, like, starts to slowly squint, and then the other, like, tries to squint. It's just like, this is harder than I thought it would be.
I didn't expect you to actually do the squinting. I thought you could make the illusion do the squinting.
I mean, I'm just as human as you were. Or was just as human. Controlling this whole thing's kind of new to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Maybe you don't need to look at the sun at all right now.
He's not gonna say this, which is like, but Q, the light, it draws me to it. Celestial-sized bug zapper. I don't know if he has a nictating membrane, but he definitely... I don't know how bugs blink.
To my knowledge, they don't.
They don't.
In that case, Q, for the next 10 minutes, you see Xerxes trying to figure out how to blink again. He's just got his tongue stuck out of his mouth as he's, like, concentrating really hard. It's just like, come on, blink,
Like-
you
like
motherfucker!
Like, there's a squint. That's about the most they can muster.
You're silly.
Are you saying that in character or out of character?
In character.
That's when he looks to you and he just gives a smile and it's just like, I mean, do you like me when I'm silly?
Just kiss.
made him go at a loss for words.
Oh no, I broke him again.
He did not expect to be hit with that question.
Too bad, Q. You gotta build your social skills somehow, motherfucker!
Don't fumble the bug.
I thought you said fondle for a second and my brain crossed
Jesus
some
Christ.
wires.
That either. Twitch TOS.
Actively feels my pupils go the opposite direction. Truly I am turning into Xerxes. Or Kai.
Once he manages to get his reaction back under control, he's just gonna say, well, kinda.
That gets a genuine smile from Xerxes, and you actually see there's just the tiniest hint of blue blush under his cheeks.
These bitches be gay.
Anyway, how about we see if there's anything else interesting here?
Alright, let me check the book.
It's mostly just transition away from them to someone else now. Because
Casually
I can't think of anything
page.
else.
You see that the prices are 50% higher than usual. We'll move on from that. All right, Eletris.
Hang on a second. Forgot about push to talk.
Oh no.
no.
I love how Xerxes blinking became the next bit.
All right. So, Eletris, he does not know many things about this world, but he is going to he's going to pursue the one thing that he has some familiarity with. He's going to investigate the basically the food offerings around here.
All right, let me double check. So, obviously, there's Real Plants trademark if you want to look at the actual food plants. And the kitchen is actually inside the big building.
See, on one hand, he is curious about like the sources of the food and everything, but he figures he's going to get more answers in regards to like what the ingredients are for the the proper preparation and everything from the kitchen itself. So I think he's going to investigate there.
I will move you over to the map. Did I hear fire wheezing in the background? Or is it just me?
God.
You
You
got
heard her.
me, noise.
Now you know why.
I am
Wow.
very sorry. I was trying so hard not to laugh. I am so sorry.
No, it got me. English. Oh man, okay. Kitchen is in 10D, so nobody else is here. Open door. Open. There we go. Eletris kitchen.
All right, what's he see?
Alright. So, you basically see what you would describe as akin to a pizza oven sitting in the middle of the building, and you see this kind of old, grizzled veteran just happily humming to himself as he sticks a packet of traditional, like, basically, you know, grain rolls where it's, like, got actual grain in it?
Yeah.
He sticks it into the oven as he's kind of humming along and dancing to his little tune.
That's when Eletris kind of mimics what Q did earlier and just kind of like knocks on the door frame. Just excuse me, hope I'm not interrupting anything.
He pauses for a moment and brushes the flour off of his hands, just like, Now you're a funny looking one. I don't think I've seen you around here.
Well, you haven't. I guess you could say I'm new here. Came in with a group of others that are kind of off doing their own thing, I guess.
And here I was hoping you're going to deliver that chocolate.
Chocolate? If I might ask, what are you using it for?
That's when he holds up a recipe card in a language you don't understand.
Just well, as you mentioned before, I'm not exactly from around here. I'm curious as to what this might say.
That's when he sits there for a moment and he's kind of like eyeing the cards, just like, it's for chocolate chip bread.
Just right. Well, unfortunately, I am not here with the chocolate for that, though I am curious as to, well, I suppose you could say I'm curious about food prep in general. Again, I'm not around, or I'm not from around here. I'd like to kind of get an idea of how things are prepared here, if it's no bother.
You see as this almost elderly man's eyes light up, is just like, you want to learn how to cook from me?
Just, again, as long as it's not a bother.
You wouldn't cook for me?
Electrus, this is when he grabs you by the wrist, and it's like, I want to, like, to describe this man is a very buff, stocky, kind of like John Silver-esque build. Like, his hand is bigger than your wrist. He grabs you by the wrist, puts you over to the sink, gets you to start washing your hands, and pulls out an apron for you to start cooking with him.
All right. Electrus is just kind of going along with this.
Just like, you have no idea how helpful it is to actually have someone help me. I mean, feeding 50 men? I mean, sure, they're working on different shifts, but they're always coming in for meals at the same time.
Yeah, I know how that goes. It's a lot of people don't understand how busy the kitchen can get.
He gives a nod, and from what's basically a cellar, you see as he pulls out this big rack of ribs, like, bigger than you. It's just like, well, it's good that I have you here, because I'm going to need your help seasoning this rack of Brontosaurus ribs.
Huh. Brontosaurus. What seasonings would you say would go well with this?
Well, we usually use, and this is where he would prattle off some information on seasoning it, because I know how to season baby back ribs. It's usually you have to remove the silver skin, you have to apply mustard, dry seasoning, and you usually want to apply a barbecue sauce, but I don't know how they actually season their meat in Africa. So I'm going to say that, for the sake of this, since he's basically making large Brontosaurus ribs, he's probably... I don't know if mustard actually exists in that part of the world, but we're going to say he's using a ground-up vinegar paste for the sake of tenderizing. And then you're going to want to use a ground-up chili pepper flake, ground-up herbs, and a brown sugar sauce, specifically, to apply to it.
All right, and Electrus is basically taking mental note of this, and he's going to write it down later, but I imagine with like whatever ingredients he's not familiar with, he's kind of like he's asking first if he can like sample them just to like get a taste for it, so that he can kind of like compare it to his knowledge of the ingredients from his world, his time, and see how it's different, see how it's similar, and see how it can be worked into what they're making.
Well, it takes a long time for you to cook them, because with how big the Brontosaurus ribs are, it's actually more efficient to cook them individually on a grill rather than it is to smoke them, just because the Brontosaurus is so big. But basically what it is that as you guys are cooking them, he sets one aside for you and your group, and one Brontosaurus rib has enough meat to feed about 8 people.
Oh, Lord.
They big. But yeah, it's definitely not the type of, because I believe you said that Electrus was a chef in France?
He technically lived in Britain, but he learned in France.
It's definitely a different kind of cooking discipline than what you're coming from. It's very, it's basically, the way that I would describe it, it's kind of like if you take Southern barbecue and mix it with, the traditions of Indian cooking.
All right.
God, that sounds good right now, actually. God.
Like a curry rib, almost.
Jesus Christ.
Does that sound actually good?
That sounds very appetizing right now. So I don't know if it's the fact that I haven't eaten anything that much today other than breakfast, but
Well, Talia's about to have her dialogue moment, so go get food, you dum-dum.
ah,
Eat num-nums.
noms.
For a little bit of world-building flavor, Sahara mustard comes from... Okay, so there is a type of mustard in Africa. I learned a new thing today.
Yeah.
There's a lot about African culture that I have yet to learn about, not out of ignorance, but just because there's so much cool stuff and I've been more focused on their culture in terms of architecture.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ben, you go get food. Electrus?
Or
Is there anything else that you'd like to do while doing this?
I think he's just like basically as they're doing this, he's just kind of picking the guy's brain about like the different cooking techniques that can be or that are utilized in Chult, and just I think he's trying to get an idea of like just like kind of secondhand like the flavor profile of different ingredients, different meats, different things that are edible that he himself is not familiar with coming from a different world.
All right. Q, I want you to make me an intelligence check.
Oh boy, I am neutral at this. Decent.
All right, Electrus, I want you to make a intelligence check, please.
He is also neutral at this.
All right, Q,
Oh,
I
God.
need you to save that for later and remind me of it.
Okay.
Electrus, I was going to give you a boon for getting high on this, but right now your survival checks are still going to be normal. However, you do have a list of different things that you'll be able to forage from the jungle.
Fuck yeah.
All right. In that case, I think we shall move to Thalia. Whenever you are ready, fire.
I am here.
All right. So, would you like to explore something on the main map, or would you like to talk to your sister?
That's the thing. And I've been kind of debating in my head during the other portions. I feel like Talia might see if she can look around the camp for a bit, just to familiarize herself. But she is going to be going back to spend time with her sister afterwards. During that, I'd like to see if it's possible to find Raka
All right.
and
We'll move.
a little more of a discreet manner, if possible.
Okay. Rokaw's just kind of been chilling out with River Mist and Flask of Wine. But if you guys want to have a discreet discussion, there's kind of just a group of crates up here to the north where you see occasionally, like, you notice that farmers were sitting there earlier and they seem to be finished with their work for the day.
Okay.
So would you like to ask Rokaw to sit there at the crates with you?
Yeah, I think so. And this will give her an opportunity to also just kind of take a look around at things, like she's familiarizing herself, and she has enough experience on how to hold a conversation with someone to where people aren't going to want to overhear or look at, just because it doesn't seem like much is going on. If anything, she could even be occupying herself with something else while speaking.
You're basically playing it casual so that nobody thinks
Correct.
there's anything interesting.
Correct.
Alright, I'm going to put you and Roka over here, and you guys are just kind of chilling and hanging out. Alright, the floor is yours.
So Thalia, while taking a break and looking around, she's going to be cleaning her weapon while still kind of looking over the ramparts of the gate a bit and just. So, what exactly are you looking for here?
Well, it's standard inspection, usually just checking through paperwork to make sure there's no correspondence with the enemy.
And by that you mean a certain party that everyone here, for the most part, is against.
Exactly.
In that case, I think I might have a bit of good news for you. The commander here is quite keen on having someone tracked down that has been, for the most part, confirmed to have been working with enemy forces.
And you're certain that this is for the sake of security and not to make contact with them?
Oh, very certain, as we were given a note in certain terms, orders to wipe them out.
I see.
In the name of protecting this fort and those that depend on it for safety as well as living.
And what level of trust do you have with the commander in order to ascertain this information?
She's going to be silent for a moment and then just. I have cause to trust them with my life. They are someone known to me. They wouldn't be able to hide intentions even if they tried.
I see. From a meta perspective, for anyone who wants to give Thalia a card to boost her, now's the time, because Thalia, I want you to roll me a persuasion check at advantage.
Perfect.
Oh boy. Add a D4 to that.
Boy.
Oh boy!
Should hopefully be coming through.
Alright, so persuasion at advantage, and you can add a d4.
Alrighty.
Alright, that'll be a 16. Roka thinks for a moment, and he closes his eyes, and he crosses his arms and leans against the crate and says, "You understand that if in any way you're wrong, the responsibility will fall on your shoulders as well. You'll have not my head, but yours too."
I'm aware.
Seeing as you were able or willing to divulge your personal connection to the commander, I believe I have reason to trust you. Very well.
Believe me, if anything changes, you'll be the first to know. But as it stands, she wants the bastard just as dead as anyone else.
And there's been no other sign of guerrilla infiltration around here as far as you've seen?
As far as I've seen.
ignoring your friend, of course.
Of course, but he's a very special case.
In that case, I will await with flask of wine and river mist to depart. Do you intend to leave come dawn, or...
We need a ship in order to take care of things, but that's being arranged. And as soon as we're done with that, I'm pretty sure we'll have more than enough to satisfy your inspection.
If you are taking a ship operating under military, I suspect it'll be faster for you to head back to Port Nyanzaru then.
More than likely. But we'll be coming back here first. There's other things we need to address after the apprehension.
Rokawa kind of tilts his head and is just like, I suspect it's none of my business, but you have my curiosity.
Let's just say, in order to unweave a web, we're gonna have to follow the threads, and that's what we're trying to do. Like I said, we want a certain thing dead. In order to do that, we have to try and follow a trail.
In that case, I shall remain here and continue doing my investigation just to verify. And from his pocket, he pulls out a bag of 50 gold coins. Once my investigation is finished, seeing as you'll be sailing, you'll likely be gone for quite some time. River Mist and Flask of Wine and I will make our way back to the city. We should be able to manage now that we're here.
Thalia is going to go ahead and take the sack casually and just thank you, and have a safe travel yourself.
To you as well. May your roads be paved with gold. And he gives a small bow.
May you find rest at the end of your journey.
And that's when you see Rokawa goes to join Flask of Wine and River Mist. They're not leaving yet, so if you guys need them for a day or two, then, well, they'll be available, but ultimately at this point, it's just a matter of if you have any questions for Liara. If not, we can get ready to go on our way.
See, there's something that I kind of want to have, but I also don't want to take up too much of the game time for it.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
Just catching up with sisters. And potentially speaking to a few things, depending on how I can figure out how to word it so that certain observing eyes and ears may not pick up on.
Well, I do have a potential idea if you're worried about taking up too much of the session time.
Yes.
What we could do is we could have a mini session at a later time where we sit down, since it's just going to be the two of us in the dialogue. And basically, it'll be recorded either after the session today or at a later date. And we can basically add it as a mini episode.
I think that'd be good.
And that way people can get a little extra tea.
He.
All about that content, baby.
It's all about that content. AK, it just gives Fire more time to think about what she wants to say.
Exactly.
Alright, but that being said, I think we're going to call it a day here, so thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure to stick around for the next episode, which is going to be pirate-themed, but If you all enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below your favorite moment from this episode? ? And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.